Hello, class, and welcome. We are officially going into week 6, module 6 of our course. As you're looking at this video right now, it may be late on Sunday night or it may be Monday throughout the course of the day or evening. So let's get into our content that we're going to cover here within week 6, module 6. We're going to talk about pricing methods. So begin to think about different pricing methods. You have to think about overall head cost. But not only that, but what about the cost of different items on the menu? So this is kind of a continuation over the last few weeks in terms of what we've been covering with yielding costs. We're kind of making the transition now from the yielding cost when it comes to making different recipes, or let's just say different ingredients, and how do we begin to yield, okay, so that the ingredients within a certain recipe is balanced out. We're going to get into the different pricing methods. Now, what does pricing method mean? Pricing methods mean how the menu is priced, or let's say, for example, okay, different cost methods, and how do we alleviate or yield certain cost within certain ingredients, again, as I had mentioned. Or let's just say certain available foods that we may have on the menu. And so begin to look into the content as you begin to read chapter 6 regarding pricing methods. And of course, like I do every week, I put together a PowerPoint that kind of gives us some vital and intricate parts, different terms that we can definitely look at when we look at different pricing methods as it pertains to putting together different dishes, and then also cutting our overhead when it comes to running a restaurant and facility. So take a look at this, and some terms really do stand out here. For example, the Texas Restaurant Association method. Also, how do we use the prime cost method? There's a formula that I included within that. For example, how do we come up with the final sales price, or how do we figure out the equation for prime cost? And then, of course, how does the actual pricing method budget percentages? And then what are your fixed and variable costs? And how do you factor that in? As you know, variable costs, okay, are going to fluctuate and change in terms of what the costs are. And your fixed costs are going to be the same amount per inventory, or however you want to look at it, on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. So also another thing to look at would be the competition. All right, think about how you will weigh and value yourself or measure yourself against the competition. And so a lot of promotion, when you think about this, and a lot of marketing is implemented within this process when it comes to measuring yourself against the competition, because what you want to do is you want to attract your customers, or the customers to come to you to utilize your restaurant, and of course to order from you as opposed to your competitor. So the importance of looking at a competitive analysis, begin to look at that as well. And then, of course, we're kind of looking at a breakdown of just different methods here when it comes to calculating the cost of food sold. So what are total purchases? Also, what is the inventory value? What's the importance and significance of employee meals? And what I mentioned before about promotions, which is part of your marketing strategy. And then you have transfers, and you also have grease sales. And then the importance of having a point of sale system. Every restaurant should have a POS, which happens to be a point of sale system, because what it does, it kind of dictates the control of the food and also money. It kind of keeps tabs on what your servers, what your employees are doing, all right, and how they're keeping up. So if any food over happens to become manipulated, or if it's not executed fully to the desire of the customer, or if there's no payment, let's say, for example, for the food that was given to the customer, the manager can go back to the point of sale system and they can look at the errors that were made, probably on behalf of the server. So these are just some terms and definitions to remember as you begin to read and study the content over chapter 6. So as we go into chapter 6, Now, of course, compared to Chapter 5, and I'm going to talk about what we just completed this past week, we have our 3 discussion question posts that are going to be due on Saturday midnight. That's October the 1st, going into Sunday, October the 2nd. That is when your Chapter 6, Module 6 discussion questions will be due. So, of course, just like every week, I've given you 3 discussion questions to complete. Your initial response will be due again on Saturday, midnight, October the 1st, going into Sunday, October the 2nd. And then make sure that on Sunday, October the 2nd at midnight, going into Monday, October the 3rd, that you give a substantive response to one of your peers for each discussion question. So that is the content. It's not much that we're covering this week for Module 6, based on Chapter 6. Just begin to think about different strategies and different pricing methods, the content that's been given to you within Chapter 6. Now, as a refresher and a reminder, we had a lot that was due this week as we are wrapping up tonight at midnight. Chapter 5, Module 5 will be wrapped up. The quiz was supposed to be due on Friday. That was September 24th. And I did get the majority of students. They did actually take the quiz. However, there were a few that were not. And for those that did not take the quiz yet, feel free to reach out to me. All right, so that we can discuss you making up the quiz. Then also, the first section of your final paper will be due tonight at midnight. So that's just a few hours away. If you happen to be looking at this video, just a reminder, the first section of the final paper is to be submitted tonight at midnight. And then you had your 3 discussion questions in Module 5 that were actually due. That was last night, Saturday midnight, going into Sunday midnight this morning. So that's what we have going on right now. As I said, kind of a condensed week with Module 6, Chapter 6. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me by email, or you can reach out to me by phone if it's urgent, so that we can have a phone consultation and conference. Okay, everybody, enjoy your weekend. I'll be checking up with you very soon.